for liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on all the books that came out. Maybe some this week, some last week. We got a stuffed Toronto wrap full of comics to talk about this week because we're catching up. Because as viewers can see, the one and only Chris Abbott has returned from Japan. You came back. I know you didn't want to come back, but you came back. How's it going, Chris?
It's going good. Yeah, I couldn't make the show last week because I was literally sleeping at the time. The jet lag is real, folks, and I'm still recovering from it from all this time. I'm still sleeping in the car, almost missing the podcast, so that's why we're going a little later. No, I was actually on time. This guy was getting dressed with his Star Wars Celebration Japan shirt I see out there.
That, and the fact that my day job just got super interesting, but super, super busy and stressful. So now there's not gonna be green smoke, there's gonna be white smoke next week, hopefully. Here's hoping. Anyways, that's a whole other topic. Yes, we're talking about we're talking about 5 books today, among other things,
which is not even the amount that we have. Like, there's even more stuff that we have to put on the back burner.
Yeah, so we'll get to that schedule at the end. Anyways, today is Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. It's the 18th week of comics in 2025. Of course, next week is Free Comic Book Day, and then ongoing number 1. We'll get into all that. We'll get into the schedule, but excited for comics coming up. First off, let's get to the quick plugs out of the way. You can follow us mainly Blue Sky. Probably, what Joel and I are doing, especially on Blue Sky, at Ion Cannon. Also, we're still on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, Ion Cannon Pod. You can follow everything Chris is up to, including all the shenanigans from Celebration.
So much.
And just all the have you caught up on the comic recaps?
Yeah, I've literally caught up on all of canon. Everything you ever want to know about Star Wars canon is now on the channel. Wow. It was a struggle. I was producing 2 or 3 videos a day to try to catch up when I got back. So that's what happens when you're up at 2:30 in the morning because you can't go to sleep because you're on a 13-hour difference of time. You just tend to try to be proactive and productive. So there you go.
So you can catch all of that at youtube.com/StarRaptor and on the Twitter app at StarRaptor. That's StarRapter. Also, if audio is more your speed, once we are finished recording, I will throw this up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So check that out there. Most of the Tractor Beam Comics reviews, a good chunk of them, are up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, the Ion Cannon podcast is on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well. I think some other podcatchers they take from Spotify and Apple, they're there as well. So give that a search, give that a whirl, and happy listening, etc. We are, of course, proudly part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network, and we're here on the Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel. And here on the channel, we have super chats. We have YouTube memberships. So we're grateful for any support you can provide to the channel and the network. If you chat us normally, we will get to your comment eventually. If you super chat us, we're going to slot it right in. We're going to get there. I'll interrupt myself mid-word if I have to, mid-sentence at least. Let's see what happens. We're grateful for any support you can provide. Also, last but not least, the Star Wars Underworld Discord server. Down in the description below, there is a minty fresh link to get into our Discord server where we're talking about Andor. We're talking about probably recapping Celebration, talking about a whole bunch of stuff, talking about everything coming down the pipe as well, video games, and I believe there's going to be a Fortnite something game night coming up. Yes,
huge.
More details. Go ahead.
Fortnite is having its biggest Star Wars collaboration. Ben Hart is going to be yelling from the rooftops. I mean, right now, if you log into your Disney and your account on Epic Games, you get a free first order trooper. I just did that right before we hit the go button on record. for all intents and purposes, Fortnite is pulling out all the stops this year. They're basically making this. I know a lot of people say it's already Battlefront enough, but like they're literally making it Battlefront this year. So from Friday onward, every week they're going to be doing different revamps in Fortnite. They're actually changing the entire map to be Star Wars. There's like Tatooine, there's First Order base, there's Resistance bases, like Maz Eisley, all this crazy stuff. They have flyable X-Wings and TIE fighters. I don't even think that Fortnite has ever had flying vehicles, correct me if I'm wrong, period. So the fact that they're just introduced with Star Wars first and foremost is insane. And the craziest thing that I ever seen Fortnite do with Star Wars is they're literally going to show us the first 2 episodes of Tales from the Underworld, a whole 48 hours before the rest of the world gets it. And guess what? It's all for the price of free, because you can literally download Fortnite on about any device you own, including maybe even your refrigerator at this point. So
probably true, actually.
There is no reason why you can't just make a free account if you really want to watch those episodes, man. I mean, that's the way to do it. So I'll be doing that Friday morning. I think somebody said 10 a.m. Eastern time is when they're going to have that available to watch those episodes. So yeah, big celebration ahead of May the 4th.
Yes, there we go. It's gonna be a fun weekend. Yeah, because we got that whole May the 4th thing, and like I mentioned, Free Comic Book Day on Saturday is always a fun time, always a Star Wars horrific time as well. So again, we'll get to that again at the end. But yeah, I think in the Discord server they're going to be playing the Fortnite Star Wars on just in the video chat, in the voice chat there. So having a fun good old Star Wars party for May the 4th weekend. So check that out down in the description below. The link is right there. All right. We'll pick up the plugs at the end. I'm just jogging my memory. First off, very quickly, I know you want to go 3 hours on this alone, Chris, but we are 24 hours after Andor arc number 2, season 2, episodes 4 to 6. I'll let you take this away. What do you think? What are you feeling?
I absolutely loved it. Thanks for throwing that to me, because I just have been chomping at the bit to talk about this. I mean, gosh, this is the most impactful Star Wars I've seen in probably 10 years. Full stop.
Yeah.
How thought-provoking it is, how relevant it is not only to World War II and stuff, but also to current events.
Yeah.
The amount of production quality. If this thing doesn't win any Emmys, I'm going to be pissed, because this has like this could be up for best drama. I mean, it already was for season 1, but like the amount of care and effort and the long game that Tony Gilroy has been playing with some of these character arcs. I mean, my goodness, Seal Karn. Yeah. Let's talk about him, because we've been thinking like, what's going on here? And we're seeing, just we get Andor season 1. It was, we were thinking it's going to be spy stuff. This is spy stuff. We've gotten there. This is like that espionage. You got spies on both sides with Andor and Cyril Karn. And then the amount that they built out this entire different, not even species, but like a culture of people called the Gormans, and the production quality of these practical sets and whatnot. And they created a whole language that was part French, like dialects and the phonetics or whatever. To basically really get into the immersion. The immersion in this show is absolutely unbelievable. And just the characters and how they're impacted, and how the rug gets pulled out from underneath of you and go like, whoa, I did not expect that to happen. It's just like, I could tell like this is not going to be the type of Star Wars for everybody, and neither was season 1. But even if you don't like this show, you have to acknowledge how great it is from like a storytelling perspective, how great it is from a production standpoint. Like they are literally firing on all cylinders in every aspect of what makes entertainment great from like the television perspective. Like I love the idea that we're getting these 3 episodes in chunks, because I'm able to sit through in one sitting and just be able to see the full vision. And now this is the first week that we are able to really see what it would look like with that 1 year transition. And like, is this going to be clumsily handled? Is it going to feel like we're not really getting the full story? But I think, at least in the first jump here, I think they did a wonderful job. There's a lot of stuff that's where you have to kind of read between the lines, which I think is very intelligent storytelling, where we're just not being fed exposition. Like, this is stuff that has happened, and we're just making we're just drawing the lines, and we're inferring on just these context clues, which is a very smart way of handling a story, a very mature way of handling a story. Like, gosh, there's so much thing. Like Saul Guerrero, you got that whole thing with Wilmon and all that stuff. The car, it's like the Coruscant and Mon Mothma, and what is happening on all these different sides of the galaxy, and they're all coming to a collision, and it's just top tier storytelling. I mean, I get why people maybe don't like it as much, because it's not got the lightsabers and the whiz bang action of the usual Star Wars, but we've gotten enough of that, honestly. It's good to see Star Wars finally taking charge, and that's the crazy thing, because it feels so different. And I've been one to say, let's just get out of the original trilogy era, like we have too much stuff, but this feels fresh enough for me where I'm like, I don't even care if it is dealing with stormtroopers still, because it's just the storytelling itself on this maturity level, at a level that we don't ever dive into the politics and the spycraft anywhere near as in depth as this show is getting us. So halfway through already, but I'm willing to bet this thing is still going to hold up the next 2 weeks.
Oh gosh, Clea. Everything with Clay and her audio, even the intro music to the second episode, episode 5, which is just all the turning the stations and different planets and everything. Mind blowing. I do want to. We're going to keep this kind of spoiler free, because we'll get into have spoilers when we do our other reviews on other shows. But I just want to get the 2 nitpicks out of my system. Try not to be too spoiler here. The one thing is, so I, with my day job and with other things, and just growing up in Ontario, having French kind of around, like, I'm not fluent in French. Most people from Ontario aren't fluent in French, but we hear French a little bit. So when I hear this French accent, I'm like, I'm trying to understand it a little bit, trying to clue in. It's like, well, it's not actually French. It's just using French pronunciation for like the diacritics or whatever the term is. French, the way they pronounce consonants and vowels and whatnot. So that was a bit throwing me off for a second. Like, I got to get used to it. Also, there's a certain recast that we won't get into just yet, that I understand. I get it. It's fine. It just, again, it took me out.
It threw me off so hard.
I think it threw all of us off. But then we all went to the internet and said, okay, why did they do this? So we'll definitely, Joel and I will definitely talk about that on Monday, and I'm sure you'll talk about it on Sunday. One of the things that's really struck me now is, it struck me positively. Like you said, the real world parallels, the music. Speaking of the music, in that first episode, well, again, episode 4. I'm thinking of it episode 1, but it's episode 4 here of Andor season 2. The music, the waltzing, and the costuming and everything, it feels like a Holocaust movie. It feels like the way they show European Jews before the Holocaust, and said, they had this somewhat ideal life, or not, they had a happy life, they were part of society. There were problems, there were tensions, and there was discrimination, but they were still able to get by. And then, of course, along comes Hitler and the genocide, and last Monday, Joel mentioned the Wannsee conference, and how that gets getting carried forward into this second chunk of episodes. But like you said, the characters are still really grounded and really moving forward, and it's interesting to see the romances are believable and real, and I'm not kicked out of it because of different experiences. But yeah, it was they're even using that as a driver of the different storylines and different world building around it. So yeah, I agree. It's got I mean, it is becoming more Star Wars. There is whiz bang action. There's no lightsabers, but there's action, and it's exciting action.
The tension.
I gotta agree. Yeah, the tension too.
I feel like Tony Gilroy captures this essence of being on the edge of your seat every third episode of the arcs. Like things built up, and he has such a great way of doing the storytelling where like you feel like everything is coming to a conclusion. You can feel the boiling point in like halfway through the third episode every time. It's like, all right, I could see the vision. I could see where things are happening. I could see where this is going. And somehow he always like just tricks me and surprises me. And like this episode, the way the third one left off, it actually had me going like yelling at the TV a little bit. I'm like, oh, that feeling like I want to kind of like, I have like kind of like tears in my eyes a little bit, but I'm also like, because I'm so happy of what happened to one of the characters.
Yeah.
Like I'm like being so vague right now.
Sure.
Because this character has been through so much. And that's probably saying too much already, but I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. Now I'm curious because it also ends kind of tragic too. But anyway, we'll get to spoilers again in later episodes, but in Outer Rim Transmissions and Ion Cannon is when we're getting into spoilers. But yeah, again, my last nitpick is I at least wish some of the things that happened in episode 3 happen earlier. Let's just say I'm a prequelist, and I like that kind of stuff more. And it's my favorite part of it. So, like the Mon Mothma Senate stuff, I'm just more interested in. I will say this definitely, if someone who has read Mask of Fear, watching this arc, it's definitely.
Oh my gosh, the stuff when she
must have gotten some notes
when she's walking around with the politicians and she's trying to garner like the support. I literally thought the same thing. I'm like, this is from Mask of Fear right now.
So, I mean, and everything with Saw too, right? I mean,
oh my gosh!
So, like Alexander Freed must have gotten at least some clear direction from the story group of saying,
I really feel like I know why Saul Guerrero is the way he is now. Yeah. I feel like there's a certain chemical compound that has made his brain just completely crazy.
It's also Stila. But
there's a reference to Stila. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Anyways, we have comic books to talk about.
Those.
Speaking of which, welcome, Tyler. We will get to your comic books soon enough, I promise. But I know it's sad because we do want to talk about it, but check out our transmissions on Sunday. Is that right?
Yep, we'll be back.
Canon on Monday. We're diving all the way in there. So yeah, let's actually talk about comic books. Well, actually talk about manga, seeing from Japan. And we're gonna start off trying to figure out how best to do this because we got 5 books to talk about. So let's do an Edge of Balance separate. The Edge of Balance one separate. Anyway, we'll get into it. First up, Edge of Balance Premonition. It was written by Daniel Jose Older, art and cover by Haining. As the brave Jedi Knights fight to protect the Jedi Temple on Banshee in the battle against the Nihil, Jedi Master Yoda must find a way to protect the younglings who call the planet home. But the fearsome Markian Ro, the Eye of the Nihil, has other plans for the Jedi Master as he unleashes his most terrifying weapon against the champions of justice yet. Again, trying to transition my mind here. This thing came out in April 8th, before you left for celebration or around the time. And so I read it then, I read it again a few days ago. I gotta say, I love, we finally get Yoda versus a Nameless. We finally get that, and we finally get how he's vulnerable to it, definitely. But we also have shadows of that Clone Wars arc with the Qui-Gon arc in season 6, where because that's the thing is he is and we see how the Nameless bring out the darkness within, the fear within, and it takes someone like Yoda to actually be able to articulate and name that. And so I really love the fact that this kind of was a turning point also just towards, similar with Reath, towards the compassion of the Nameless. We have Yoda learning from, he was a Padawan Buriaga at the time, but Yoda can learn from whoever, saying, oh yeah, empathy, actually showing compassion to these creatures that are also just slaves of the Nihil themselves, and discovering again the need for them to go home to Planet X and be where they need to be. And that ruins Markion's plans, it ruins everyone that Quarren's plans. But it was an entertaining book. It was a nice read, nice little kind of side quest of a side quest, because the manga are kind of side quests in general, but not so much the Edge of Balance Volume 4. But this premonition definitely, it was a nice character study of what is Yoda doing and thinking and experiencing. Literally, Markian asks him, what do you think when you're about to die? And he says, Wookiees. Didn't expect that. And so very good, very much, that's the thing with Yoda, right? Having just seen Revenge of the Sith 3 times, reflecting on his moment of greatest failure. But he isn't yet the Yoda of Empire Strikes Back or The Last Jedi, but he also isn't yet the Yoda of Anakin, just get over her. He actually may have forgotten something along the way. And so it's a great reminder of this character and how he's taking care of these kids and taking care of even the Nameless itself. So really, really intriguing, interesting story. I think that's we got a lot of books to go through, so I'm gonna keep them all short. But let you throw it to you. What do you think of Edge of Balance Premonition? You're muted, or I can't hear you.
My first thought was, wow, we're finally getting a Yoda actual story in the High Republic. I know they've been, purposely not, trying to rely on Yoda as such a main character to tell their High Republic stories, but hey, we're at the end point here, so it makes sense to give us something what the fans really want. And because I've certainly wanted Yoda, and especially see him going up against the Nihil, whooping her butts, and then going against the Nameless. And it's great to see the end game, because between Into the Light and between this, we get to see possible solutions to the current issues that are happening in the High Republic. So we're getting a glimpse of seeing, hey, how can we actually maybe get back to normal with the galaxy? These are possible solutions. So I liked, literally, I was watching Revenge of the Sith also the other night. And had to be where Daniel Jose Older got this premonition title, because Yoda literally was talking to Anakin in a temple and said something about premonitions you have, or something to that degree. I'm like, oh, that's where he got the title for this. Like, literally, Yoda's having his own premonition of. But it's interesting. Like, you think like these like deadly creatures, like, all right, you fight fire with fire, you fight violence with violence to take them down, defeat them. When actually, these are creatures like you mentioned, and empathy is. Jedi are warriors. At least a lot of people look at them as warriors, but a lot of times they're mainly just problem solvers. In that case, we're using something other than violence to kind of solve the problem as peacekeepers. So I like how that is going in that direction, where we're seeing the true Jedi really come to their own with this kind of possible answer to what's happening.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and again, what we see with Reath, especially in Tears of the Nameless, right, where he's able, to figure out the similar kind of thing. What do you think of the fact that kind of repeating different Jedi are coming to the same conclusion? I guess Charles Soule is going to deal with that, and they're going to have a conversation. Oh, yeah, I agree. I don't know. How did that strike you, that we have two two Jedi discovering, oh yeah, let's take the Nameless back to Planet X.
Yeah, it's just like like they gotta have at least more than one source, right? It's like, okay, this is a really big important thing here. Like, can we really just trust one person now? Now, if multiple people come forward and say, hey, this is the solution, they all corroborate and be like, this is the way.
Yeah.
In real world, that's how it works. So it makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. All right. I think we gotta move it quite along. We got another Edge of Balance book. Did I not make a thing for it? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I forgot to make a thing for it. That's okay. It's Edge of Balance Volume 4, also written by Daniel Jose Older and Shima Shinya, and with art and covers by Mizuki Sakakibara. Oh no, I guess I got it there. There we go. Never mind. I got confused. Anyway. Oh no, I got it both at the same time. That's how. That's why. Never mind. We're good. We're good. It's up there. Despite barely surviving a vicious battle against the Nihil and the Nameless, Jedi Knight Lily Tora Asi knows the fight to protect the Jedi Temple on Banshee and the people of that frontier world is far from over. While a fearsome army led by the infamous Nihil scientist Baron Bulin headed their way, Lily must trust her allies and dig deep to face their biggest challenge yet. As Lily and her friends try to rebuild their defenses in time, Master Sav Maligan and Master Arkov vow to rescue their comrades taken by the Nihil. Sav will have to look within her past to find the only person who can actually help or possibly help. Whatever, same thing. I'll throw this to you, put you on the spot here. What do you think of Edge of Balance Volume 4?
Yeah, so I read these basically back to back. I went from Premonition right to this one, so it almost seemed like one continuous story in a way for me. But Lily, my first big note here was, to my knowledge, just the first like official mainline thing ending in the High Republic. Like we have actually the last. Well, I've read the last young adult novel. We have the last. Middle grade novel coming out next week. So it's basically like, all right, this is the closing. Things are coming down. We've had 4 volumes of Lily Taylor's story as on Banshee with Arkov and all these other younglings and stuff. So we're getting down to the wire. That was my first reaction of like, okay, this is whether or not she appears in Trials of the Jedi. I'm sure she will. It seems like everything's going to get wrapped up. Everybody's going to get mentioned at least a little bit in that book. But as far as the substance of what the story holds itself, I think it was great to get a reference to Aslan Rel. And it's been such a long time since I read issue or volume number 3 that when I first seen Aslan Rel, it didn't dawn on me that it was Aslan Rel. And I thought it was a Mira Lucan Jedi. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. They have like a Knights of the Republic reference to a Mira Lucan. Right. So I was pretty stoked about that until I realized, oh crap, that's actually Aslan Rel. But between Into the Light and this, they're really fleshing out a redemption story for Aslan Rel because he's the guy that has left the Order because of the Nameless, really affected him a lot. And he turned to the dark side to fight fire with fire, his fear with the dark side to keep these things at bay. True. And well, now he's actually like caring about others. He's not self-focused. Like he's get the younglings away, get them out of here. I was like, wow, he actually is having this redeemable quality of save the younglings and whatnot. So I thought that was great. I thought that was really, really good. Also, the Drengir has good guys at this point. Yeah. Because as you're reading Into the Light, it definitely doesn't appear that they are good at all in that point. So,
which I haven't actually finished yet, by the way, but I know.
Yeah. I've made slight references to be very vague.
Thank you.
But the Drengir. That was and the way they're illustrated, obviously a manga, so there's some artistic creativity and inference going there. And it's great to see some stuff from Daniel Jose Older's Phase 2 jumping in there with Dexter Jetster and Sav Maligan on the ship there, and they're integrated pretty well into the story as well. So those are my top level looks on the book.
Yeah, I thought I was reading the description. Oh yeah, who can possibly help? And I was like, is that Dexter? Oh yeah, that's right, Dexter. Yeah, okay, it's all making sense now. Although he's shown up in Phase 3 already, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yep. So Oh, in the HRA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Great to see him jump. It's interesting to see them, jumping into. It's a slightly different medium. These are still, I mean, this is the Japanese version of comic books. It's a different industry. It's a different world, but as you may have discovered in Japan, but yeah, to see this different black and white style making things a bit more chaotic with the Drengir, like you're saying, and all the everything coming to a head. It is a little thing confusing, but when this is set, I think it's probably set before Into the Light, maybe it's set after. I can't quite tell, but what is interesting, I mean, both volume 3 and volume 4 have Reath and Aslan, and we know Reath and Aslan and Bulan are all key to this end game here. And so it is this interesting transition of having Lily be on her own in Banshee and Arkoff be on her own in Banshee, and now definitely her growth as a leader, part and parcel with the rest of all these younger knights and Padawans from phase 1. She's definitely tapping into her courage and her strength and her wisdom to confront fear and step forward and believe in herself, believe that she's capable of holding down the fort, helping people fight. One thing I didn't mention, both in Premonition and this, you have the non-Jedi playing key roles because they're not as sensitive to the Nameless, right? That Twi'lek, I think Twi'lek or character, the mother of those kids that Yoda is trying to save, and here you have all the people on Banshee, and the little bird things and the dog, making an effort. And this is something that High Republic has also built up, and here's a great example of it, that they're able to help fight off the Nihil as well. And and then you get Niv Drendo, whatever, Abruk, making his escape as well. So it was a little chaotic because of the style, but overall pretty interesting story. And I agree with everything we said with Aslan, him having letting the vulnerability of kids, seeing that as a strength, and seeing that as a source of strength, and that was moving as well. I mean, even again with volume 3, definitely seemed like they were starting to bring him back to the light. And so curious, Into the Light, and then Trials of the Jedi, where this character goes, what he ends up doing. Really fascinating character from phase 2. We get the flashback from phase 2 in this as well. So gonna be a good finish for him as well. Here we go. All right, I think we should keep it moving, keep it rolling, keep it going. Still in High Republic. We're still in High Republic, but we're going all the way over to Ariadu, Battle of Ariadu. And this is the one shot written by Alyssa Wong, art by Elena Romboli, colors by Dan Jackson, letters by Comicraft's Tyler Smith and Jimmy Betancourt, and cover by Jake Bartok. Two estranged friends find themselves on opposing sides of the Battle of Ariadu. Jedi Padawan Gavi fights for light and life, while Driggit Purse sits at the right hand of the villainous Warden. When the two finally meet again after Driggit's betrayal, it's on the front lines. Can their old friendship be salvaged amidst a war? I gotta say, it's still not right, Matthew. What's happening here? There we go. Anyway, I gotta say, this was really, sorry, we'll collect my thoughts here. Alyssa Wong has a way with certain characters. She has a way with Afra, or they have a way with Afra. Sorry, they have a way with Afra. They have such a way with Driggit. Even going to that Insider short and everything, in the different comic books that they've written her in. Really digging deep into this character who, feels like she has to betray her home, goes off, joins the Nihil, and now is so filled with this thirst for revenge that she's just going to go and do it. And she's willing to sacrifice herself. I mean, it's almost if this is an all ages comic, but it's picking up some themes from Andor, oddly enough, as I'm talking about this, right? That she has to sacrifice herself. She doesn't have the right to happiness for the sake of the cause. That's the theme of Andor. That's the theme of that Driggit has here. And then I love Gavi giving her that hug and saying, "No, life is more than this. Life matters more than this." So it is still a little odd. She got so happy about killing. I found that a little. I mean, not a bad thing, but just an interesting character. But I'm a little concerned for her. You know, Jedi or the light side, folks on the light shouldn't be so happy about killing. Shouldn't find that kind of relief. Maybe there's still time. She's just now rediscovering herself in this, and so again, another theme from Andor. And yeah, so yeah, this was, and it feels, this definitely felt like their story wrapping up, coming to this really, really meaningful conclusion. And yeah, and then she sends the warden off to Bifrang City or whatever, but we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, what did you think of the concluding chapter of the Driggit and Gavi story?
Yeah, I immediately went to the sequel trilogy between Ray and Ben Solo because this really felt like, okay, these characters on both sides of the war getting together. It's like this climactic battle, right? It's all the drama, all the high fantasy there, and it really, really does a lot with Driggit. I mean, we've been wondering, like, she's been, you know, constantly like muttering, like, "Oh, I'm gonna get back at the Nile one day. I'm gonna get back at the Nile one day." So it's cool to see Alyssa Wong getting to tell that story in an oversized issue that's dedicated just to these characters and nobody else. I thought that was done very, very well, as far as just being able to have that real estate with that. As far as, let's see, looking at some other things here. Yeah, I mean, just the perspective of that. I think that's my big takeaway with this one. I was a little bit off put by this title. My one gripe was, okay, you got a one shot called the Battle of Iriad. I thought this was going to be like the big culmination of like, we talk about like how Charles Soule does like Light of the Jedi, where it's like all the characters. It's like the novels have the big sweeping motions of like dozens of characters. I thought this was going to be the cap for the comics. Right. This was going to kind of tie everything in a nice little bow, have characters from maybe even Keeve Trennis and stuff showing up, because we know she was showing up at Ariadu. It wasn't that. That's fine. This battle is obviously far from over. It looks like this is going to be the Battle of Pelennor Fields, if you will, in the third act with Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. So yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm trying what was going to say. Yeah, it's sure the title. I mean, it's definitely much more a continuation, of course, of Crash Landing and Crash and Burn, right? It's just the third version of that, maybe, but it's not about Crash primarily, even though it's written by Crash. Not about Crash, it's about Driggit and Gavi, which is great. And again, wrapping up at least that little chunk of the story, it did feel connected to the Battle of Ariado. I will say that. You know, all the art, this is, Elena Romboli and Dan Jackson, very much of a piece with Harvey Tolibau and Michael Attier, we're going to talk about in a second, but it very clearly felt part of it, in part bringing the warden in and having real consequences for the warden. And we know how he's the big bad in this battle. I mean, General Weiss is the real big bad, but he's been so consistently the big bad in this HRA line. And so that helped connect things, which is a great segue to High Republic Adventures number 17. This was written by Daniel Jose Older, as mentioned, art by Harvey Tolibau, colors by Michael Attier, letters by Comic Crafts, Tyler Smith and Jimmy Betancourt, and cover by Harvey and Kevin Tolibau. As the Battle of Ariado continues, leader of the Resistance Jedi Knight Farzala Tarabal is faced with an impossible decision: risk the lives of his friends or forfeit their chances of defeating the Nihil. It's a dilemma that sees Farzala descend to a dark place, only to discover a surprising confidant. And again, it's your turn. I'll turn it to you. What do you think of HRA number 17?
Yeah, it's great getting to see some love for Farzala. And, he's been the de facto kind of leader of this entire arc of the High Republic at this point in time. And we get to see like this, it was like a force vision he had, right? With his master Obtruka. Because wasn't he killed in like Eye of the Storm by Mark-Gon Rowe personally?
Maybe.
I think he was tortured and killed at the end of that one.
Yeah.
So it's funny because this happened before in the other issue. It's like the theme of this is like the dance, like trying to do this dance. And then the whole focal point of the High Republic, Michael Slick-Lane set it up saying, what is the Jedi? Like, what do they fear? What are they afraid of? What is Farzala afraid of? And it's like this whole dark thing of them trying to figure out. And his certainty is like his big thing. Like, the certainty is driving him away and all that. So I like to see like this was a lot deeper with motive and seeing all that. But then you get to see Vildo and Ram from a lot of the middle grade novels that we've gotten recently. You got to see this big choice where it's again on Farzala's shoulders about how you get this common thing like, how many people would you sacrifice to stop a war? It's like, okay, would you sacrifice just one hostage on the Starhopper, the ship you used to love, take out the warden, but you might take out, I'm guessing at that point is Driggit, take everybody out to stop the war. Also, he's spurred on to fight rather than run.
Yeah.
Rather than take the coward's way out and just like, okay, everybody get out of there. The whole place is gonna blow up. We can't do anything. No, let's fight back. Let's fight back. Another deep callback from Phase 1 when they go to Nal Hutta with the Hutts and Jabba's appearance and all that sort of thing was with the Nikto female named Ishnar.
That's who that is. I honestly had I completely forgot.
Yeah, it was a deep cut. It was a really big deep cut because they mentioned that like they were on prison for a year together and that was never really fleshed out. It was more of like inferred, but apparently they were a thing. So, a lot of cool stuff with Farzala in this issue.
Yeah, I really loved that conversation. This vision he has with himself, because that's as the Abertuk tells him in his mind. It's actually you sorting this out and working this out. A lot like Barash, right? The needing the certainty as a way of staving off fear is giving into fear, right? Is trying to clamp down and say, we're going to take do the thing we know, as opposed to risking what needs to be done, even if we don't quite know it. I mean, that's the theme for the Jedi in this entire era, right? They don't know the Nihil. This might be the dilemma with taking the Nameless back to Planet X, right? That's what Aslan might at first at least say. What are you gonna help them? What are you doing? You've got to take him down with a laser sword. Oddly enough, I mean, someone like Keeve is one who is able to do that. We saw that in the Marvel comic. But yeah, to have this reflection in this young adult all ages comic, to have that reflection of, oh yeah, we actually have to go risk. It's worth saving this I guess this the water generator or the energy generator underneath Bifrang City. It's worth saving that, especially in part because the battle in Ariado City is not going well. There's just not enough time, and he's able to really move. Farzala is really able to move himself and step up. It's another phase, the third phase of these characters coming into their own. I mean, I'm just realizing this now, right? You had Vernestra, and you have Keeve, and you have Farzala, you have Reath, my favorite character, I'm missing his name. All these characters, you had Lily in Edge of Balance. They were in this intermediate place of coming to themselves and coming to their sense of competence and leadership. Here we saw Lily do it in Edge of Balance. We're seeing Farzala do it here. Maybe, I mean, we even, in a way, we saw Driggit and Gavi move into the second phase of this. And oddly enough, for Kiev, we know what it's going to look like for Kiev. It's going to be different. She's already a master somehow, but and of course for Nestra,
it makes sense though, because watching Revenge of the Sith, like Obi-Wan literally tells Anakin, how old is he? Like 22 at that point?
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to be a master soon. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Like, so we've seen like the precedent set of like the Jedi becoming masters pretty early on if they're exceptional.
Yeah, it's true. And especially given the Guardian protocols and everything. But we know what her moving into that third phase is going to look like. And I'm really looking forward to that story. And I'm not looking forward to that story at all. But here we see Farzala and see what he's able to contribute to winning this Battle of Ariado, hopefully, and then see in Trials of the Jedi if he has a part to play in that too. So definitely really bringing this character full circle. I'm really glad we've gotten more time with this character in this last arc here, and looking forward to what comes next, what happens next with him, because I mean, the battle keeps going, and I'm glad. That actually makes sense. It actually feels there's more story here to tell. So looking forward to that. All right. One last comic, I promise. It's actually from Marvel. From Marvel. I actually have it. You have it. Thanks to Dom for snagging this for me. For those who haven't read Beyond Victory, we'll try not to, we'll have to spoil it, but
we'll have to spoil it because these poor people can't ever read it themselves. So let's dive a little deeper because there's a lot to glean from these.
Get into this. I couldn't even find a description for this, so maybe I'm missing something. But anyway, this is the Beyond Victory one shot written by Ethan Sachs, art by Stephen Cummings, and Will Sliney and Shugo Aoki in different sections. Colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, letters by VC's Joe Caramagna, and cover by Phil Noto. Again, I couldn't find a description. This is an exclusive to Celebration at the Meta booth. If you wanted to pick that up, figure that out. It helps to either be there or have a roommate who went there. I enjoyed this issue. I don't know if I'm probably gonna watch maybe a playthrough of the Meta experience, but this was a fun setup for it, and showing Volobulus as this more interesting, morally gray character. I think he's the hero, but he punches back with getting these other pod racers in trouble. Love seeing Sebulba coming back as well. Of course, again, I'm a prequelist here. Anything to pod racing is very prequel fun, prequel heavy, and I mean, Ethan really digging back and going into this character's origins. And this was a surprising thing about how his friend, he has this childhood friend who dies of a sickness. And so he's carrying her in his heart, in his life going forward. And it's like, oh, I can't fail you. I gotta go. And he doesn't end up winning the race, which is also kind of surprising, but it's good to see. Maybe he's not the hot shot pilot yet. Maybe he's not the best ever, but he shows Sebulba just enough to say, okay, you can be part of the crew. Also, I kind of love that detail how Sebulba got banned for life. That was funny because it was bound to happen eventually. Come on. See what he did to this kid, 9-year-old kid. You can do that. You're going to probably do some more serious stuff to get banned for life. So this is a fun Marvel comic. Glad to see Marvel put this out. Really, he's got to make it more. It deserves to actually be available to be read. It'll probably could help the sales of the game. You'd think it would, but go figure. But yeah, Ethan doing such a great job again with writing Underworld stories. He that's his wheelhouse for sure. I'm sure he can do more. Codebreaker did come out today as well. We'll get to that soon, but I definitely enjoyed this fun prequel to this video game. What do you think of Beyond Victory one shot?
Yeah, I thought this was too good to only release to like a couple thousand people. Honestly, like the quality. This wasn't just like a mail away, just like, oh, let's just get the paycheck and write about this character on a very surface level. Like, first of all, I was at the booth and I tried to get some information out of our friend Ethan, who was on the show. I said, so is Volabolus, is he a new species? Because he's got the forearms, and he's like, I can't comment on this. So, so I don't know why it's such a big deal, but apparently I think he's a new species. I haven't seen it before, but I really like this. Like, they're racing around on Batu, which was really cool because Ethan Sachs.
Right, they're on Batu.
Ethan Sachs had wrote a story about like the Tales from whatever, the Galaxy's Edge or whatever like that.
He wrote that comic.
So it was neat to get that kind of call back there. Getting to see Boss, of course, he's gonna put. I'm pretty sure that's like his favorite bounty hunter is Boss, because he wore like the Boss mask at the panel in London. He always writes Boss, but you have that. You have Hondo Inaka showing up. Of course, it's bad too. Hondo Inaka would be there. Hondo Inaka's like, oh, I didn't bet on the race. I bet on somebody fighting. It's like this chaos that ensues.
Oh, Hondo.
It is just a great comedic flair there. But I mean, the kineticism of how the static images represent the quickness and the absolute craziness it is to fly those pod racers, and some really intelligent designs too that are actually new and fresh, such as like the twin pod racer where it's like the two Rhodians are flying on the same.
Is that even legal?
It was like, wait, what is this? This is crazy. So it was really fun, and I was super hyped to see it. And then I was just like, I had whiplash when all of a sudden you find out like the one character has terminal illness. It's like, oh man, that got heavy really fast, didn't it? So like, I was not expecting this huge emotional undertone that carries through the story that keeps Bolovolos going. But from what I understand, it's not really a game that there's going to be. The thing was playable, and I tried to do it. Okay, so the story was I walked up to the MetaQuest booth like while the Mandalorian and Grogu panel was going, like the first thing on the first day. I said, oh, there should be plenty of space for me to go now. Everybody's at the panel, and the line was already like 2 hours. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not wasting 2 hours of my time to just try to play this thing. So it's a play set or experience, so it's not even really a game. I'm thinking it's more like that Trials from Tatooine. I know some of the guys from Star Wars Underworld played, where it's more of like a tech demo. I think. So I'm not that bent out of shape because I don't even have a MetaQuest 3, and I'm be honest with you, I wouldn't buy it just to play this thing because it doesn't seem like it's an actual game. But like you, like if there's playable stuff on YouTube, I'll probably try to tune in because I am curious about the story, because like the cliffhanger is like, oh, the idea is he had to place in the top 4 or something. So he got second place. So that was good enough. But then Sebulba's like, okay, I got my person for the job now. So it's like, oh, wait. So I actually am curious to see what exactly happens.
So I mean, it seems like there's some story involved, right? If they went to the trouble of getting Ethan Sachs to write this comic, getting Stephen Cummings and Will Sliney and Shogo Aoki to draw it. I mean, Stephen Cummings and Will Sliney are two of the Star Wars greats right now. And Ethan Sachs, of course. Ethan will never phone it in. He'll never just, from the little we've met and talked to him, like he's someone who will always care about the story and about the characters. And so even probably bring beyond what he was expected to, which is great. Again, it's this would have sold like hotcakes. This would have probably sold. I don't understand, but what can you do? I'm grateful I have it. Grateful you have it, and we can talk about it. But here's hoping something comes of this, because might be, if it's just an experience, then the comic would have been more popular potentially. If something else comes around this, I don't know, but my collection is not there's not a gaping Beyond Victory comic one-shot hole in my collection. There we go. You got a quote from Tyler here, and this is going to be a good segue into our next conversation a little bit. I thought the game was going to be building your own pod racer and racing it, third-person perspective and augmented reality. I think there might be some of that. I have no idea. I don't know. Chris, you're the video game guy.
Yeah, I seen a trailer Celebration, and I was honestly kind of unimpressed. I'll be honest. Like I seen a trailer, and it looked good because it was like, oh yeah, you get to talk to these companions in first person. And then all of a sudden they pan out in the trailer, and it's just showing a third person. Like, I'll be honest, it looked like PlayStation 2 graphics, and it's like we're in the year 2025. It's like the frame rate was very choppy, and granted, it's like not really finished yet, but sometimes maybe you should hold your cards close to your chest before you're ready to show stuff off. So that's why I'm not really worried about playing the game, because like whatever the experience, because I'm like, it doesn't really look that appealing to me at this moment in time.
Interesting.
When I am quick aside, what I am excited for is Zero Company. That game looks freaking amazing.
Sure. Yeah, well, that's odd. Like, why would it go third person in a VR experience?
Doesn't make sense, right? That's why I was really confused. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you play episode 1 Racer, and it's like, ooh, it's way more intense when you're in that first person view.
Yeah, well, I mean, I play that in third person usually, but
sure.
Yeah, but a VR headset, you gotta, anyway, who knows? Anyway, that's a good segue to our last little bit. So welcome back to those United States to from Japan. I'll ask you this: well, you said there was like maybe 1 or 2 stories you wanted to share. We have a few minutes. From Celebration, what was maybe the biggest experience in the con that those coach conning couldn't have experienced?
Well, I would say that it's actually not even in the convention.
Let's see where this is going.
I love the convention. Well, you would love the convention because if you're a food person, you're gonna love the convention, because first of all, I show up and they have the food trucks outside of the whole convention center, and they all have different fried chicken. They have karage is like
karage is great. Yeah.
Oh, you know about that?
Oh yeah. There's a karage place around here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I did not know until I showed up in Japan how big they are on fried chicken, and it's really good there. So yeah, it was like the yen is so weak compared to the US dollar that I was shocked at the prices, and it was at a convention. It was like, wait, you're telling me that if I got a beer and a karage meal with a whole big heaping of rice and all, that's only $12? Yeah. Like in New York City, it's $12 for a damn beer. So I'm going, dude, I feel like I'm a king right now. I'm saving all this money
for a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. So multiple times, the idea was we would get the food from these different places, and then we would go wait in line.
Yeah,
and it was the best idea ever, because we would have our drinks, we'd be sitting on the floor, and we got into every panel we wanted to, man. Like every panel we wanted to. All you have to do is you have to know where to go. See, I've been to 4 of these things at this point. So it's like, okay, for the Ahsoka panel, it's like we try to get into the celebration stage and we didn't have a ticket. Standby got blocked off. It's like, okay, let's try Twin Suns. Okay, that got blocked off. Oh, but the Galaxy stage let us in. They let us in.
Right.
So it's like, as long as you get to these panels, even if you don't have a reservation, if you go like an hour ahead, you're probably going to get into them.
And this is also like for the streaming of the other
streaming. Yeah, we just got a stream for Ahsoka. We've seen a new trailer and everything. It was great.
Yeah,
and we've seen Hayden Christensen get reconfirmed to be in season 2, and really great stories from Dave Filoni that I've heard. Like, oh yeah, the inspiration for Ahsoka was from Princess Mononoke, a Studio Ghibli classic film, and the things on our faces are reminiscent of that character from that, and the wolf is reminiscent of the character from that. So it was great to hear like Filoni giving like new stories and different things like that. But I mean, I've been to Celebration for so long that it's like my usual thing is like, yeah, I go to mainly just do the panels, and I don't do much else. But as far as something that I didn't try before was going to like a swag meetup. So there was, I think it was 2:00 on Saturday.
Mhm.
We go to this area and we're like, oh, cool. There's like maybe like 20 people here, and it's like inside, and it's like a small little gathering. It's great because I'm giving out my stickers and my buttons and all that kind of stuff, and meeting new people. They're giving me really cool stuff too, like not just stickers. Like there's this guy that was giving out like little miniature lightsabers, little miniature collapsible, extinguishable plastic lightsaber keychains. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then we realized that, oh, this is the person said, oh, we got tired from being outside with all the people out there. We came in here to start a new one. I'm like, wait a minute. So there's more people outside?
Okay.
And we walk out there and there's like 500 people outside. I'm like, oh, so this is actually where this event is right now.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because we got to meet so many different fans from all around the world. I would ask people, oh, where are you from? Oh, Hawaii. Where are you from? I'm from over here. Like, it was just like really cool to meet the fans. And I was getting I have an entire plastic bag full of swag. So that was something I haven't done at Celebration before. But it was cool because, like, here I'm telling people about the podcast, like, oh, here's my podcast, like, check it out. And everybody was so gracious, and there's obviously a lot of local Japanese people were there, which was really cool to like meet the locals, and that was a really cool experience. And then, so yeah, the rest of the convention was great because I thought this convention was great because another thing was the cultural identity of the Japanese in full force. Like you go to UK, and guess what? It's basically like every other celebration in America. There's not really any identity to be in like an English, convention for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But here, I mean, oh my gosh, like the booths were amazing. The Hasbro booth looked like the best one I've ever seen. It was like literally like a kind of like a classical kind of the Shoto doors and the lanterns, and the way it was styled with the roof. It looked like a building in Kyoto. It was crazy. And then you had the manga pavilion, which was just so neat. They had this like cherry blossom in the middle of it, and it was all the Vision stuff, but like realized in like actual like clothing and wardrobe, like some people physically created. There was representation of the Ronin's like curved katana lightsaber, the lightsaber umbrella from the duel, like all these really cool memorabilia that they actually made in real life.
Wow. So,
and then like the costumes were just out of this world, like feudal Japanese Darth Maul. That somebody had like a helmet, obviously a couple of different Vaders that were like samurai Vaders, and it was just the creativity that was enforced there was just insane. At one point, not really a Japanese inspired thing, but I seen somebody literally walking with an ATST.
Nice.
Somebody made an ATST costume.
I think I saw that on YouTube or something.
You could see the top of this thing from well over the head of everybody, would tower over everybody with ATST just walking around the place.
That's wild.
But another thing too. See, the more you get me going, the more I start.
We have a few more minutes.
I didn't have much time to. I didn't have much to say, and now all of a sudden I do.
Sure.
But the first day I ran into your roommate, Dom.
Yeah.
I ran into him like 3 or 4 times without us even communicating. It was crazy. We just every day we would somehow run into each other, like out of the 20,000 people or whatever a day they had there. But he had gone out of the panel. Yeah, he had gotten out of the Mando panel, and it's like, oh yeah, I was there, blah blah blah. And my girlfriend really was hoping to get into that panel to see like Pedro Pascal, like many of the other women have a crush on the guy. So I was like, all right, well, he said, well, a lot of times these people show up at the live stage not too soon after. Yeah. So I looked at her, I'm like, do you want to, this could be a while. I mean, we're going to be standing waiting, then there's no guarantee. Yeah. But it paid off because we were like right at the live stage. We got to see Ryan Gosling come out there with Sean Levy and talk about that. We got to see Kathleen Kennedy come out there. We got to see the Lego guys reveal like a freaking 9-foot tall K2SO Lego. We got to see the world premiere of like the New Outlaws expansion coming later next month. And then, of course, Pedro Pascal came out, and dude, my ears almost exploded because the girls, and you can see it on my you can see it on my video of my celebration vlog. Like I had to actually turn down the volume in the video because the high pitched squealing of the women. I've never heard anything like that when Pedro Pascal came out. There was an octave higher than it could have shattered a window. I was like,
including your girlfriend. Did she?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, the women were going crazy because we're like 30 feet away from them too. Like we had a perfect spot. I was like, wow, and it was so funny because like you've watched a live stream, like they're joking around, like they're jet lagged, they're like they don't even know what day it is, and Dave Filoni and Pedro are like just screwing around. Kristen Baver's trying to hold it together, and at one point Pedro like takes the hat off Dave Filoni's head and just wears the cowboy hat, and it is a great moment.
He's a charmer.
Yeah, so that was fun because I've never really like hung out at the live stage much, and when we first got there, we were like, all right, well, we already missed the Mando panel. Like, let's just hit the restroom and just mosey around. As soon as we get in the line, like all of a sudden, like we're just hearing like, and Hayden Christensen, and then we just look, we're like, screw the bathroom, we couldn't hold it.
And we just right at the beginning, right?
We just run toward the live stage, and at that point, there's already about 3,000 people around the perimeter. We're not even getting anywhere close, so we tried to get up onto the escalator to the second floor to get a better view, and then all we're hearing is like the Peanuts kind of voices, like the audio is terrible. It was like,
they gotta change that.
We tried to like zoom. I zoomed in on my camera, got a few good shots. I said it's not really worth just standing here. So, but then it was funny because like I think it was the next day. Hayden must have been doing some kind of. They would do like the interviews on the second floor. There would be a balcony, but it was really strange because the way they had it positioned with that second floor for the convention folks is it was like a road. You had the left lane was just going one direction, the right lane was going the other direction, but then you had like a barrier in between both lanes. So here we are walking on the right side of this room, this long hallway, and then all of a sudden, like everybody starts scrambling, like running, and I had like this fight or flight response, like, oh my god, is there like somebody, God forbid, with like a weapon or something around here? Like, why is everybody like yelling and running? I'm like, oh god. It turns out that Hayden Christensen was like on the other side of the barrier, just like walking with his posse, just like casually through the convention center, like not in the expo hall, but like going from one place to the other. And I was like, wow, there he is. He's like 10 feet away from us, just walking by casually. And it's just like, it was funny though. I was like, what the hell is the commotion here? Oh, it's literally the Chosen One just walking by.
That's fantastic. That's the magic of celebration. It really sounds like it was a celebration of how Star Wars is for everyone. It's for people from Japan. It's for women who like Pedro Pascal. It's for you and me. It's for everyone. It really is. And so, that's great to hear. I'm gonna do my darndest to get to LA 2027.
Yeah. We had a great time. It's definitely one of my favorite celebrations because I mean, as a person that got into basically every panel I wanted to, I was like really satisfied with the reveals. I think there's a lot of good information that we learned from like the future of animation, the future of the movies, the future of the video games. Like I really couldn't ask for more. I guess at first when I first seen the panel schedule, I was like, oh, it seems a little light. It's only 3 days too. It's like, is this like a step between two celebrations, not quite a full celebration? But I'll be honest, like the flow is great. I never felt like I was bored. Obviously I wouldn't be bored of celebration, but I never felt like I was wandering out, I don't know what to do right now. Like there was something to do obviously at all times, but there was space between the panels that was nice, because like one panel would end and it would seem like there'd be like an hour and a half between the next one. So then we would grab a drink, we would go grab food, and then go wait in the next line. It was very casual. There wasn't like a lot of like stressful running around unless it was Saturday. And Saturday was absolutely insane because for whatever reason we were running late, we had reservations for Andor season 2. That was my main panel of the damn weekend. I was like, we got to get through there, hell or high water. We're getting there. So we're like running through the train station. We're running as trying to maximize our lost time for whatever happened in the morning that morning. So
you slept in.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. And we're still not even in there. So I'm running around. I'm like freaking out. At one point, she says, "Just go without me. Just I know you want to go. I'm
just for the team."
She's there at the convention, but she said, "You can go in. I'll meet you in there." I'm like, "All right." So I'm literally running. There's like stopping of traffic because cars are coming through. I'm like, of all times, like just come on, car, go faster. I got to get to the other side. I'm running. Think I'm going into the right place in the convention center. And then it has me rerouted to go all the way back through the other side, go down the stairs, go back down around the entire length of the food court. At that point, it's like 10:05. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting into this place. It already started 5 minutes ago, 10 o'clock. Okay. It's like 10:05, 10:07 at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like running through the crowds. People are probably looking at me like, oh my gosh, this guy's a maniac. He's like, everybody else is like walking casually. And you see me with my book bag, just like juking in between people. Like, I don't care right now.
I know the feeling though.
And then I get to like the Twin Sun stage where I have the reservation.
Yeah.
And I stop for a second. I'm like, I don't see like any of the celebration crew like that had like, guarded the entry. So I'm looking around. I just jump right through. I go right into the curtains to get in there. I like look around like I didn't do anything wrong. And it turns out there's like 20 other people just standing off to the side, just watching the panel.
Yeah.
So I was maybe like 10 or 15 minutes late to the panel. And then eventually she finds me.
Yeah.
And then we're both standing. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to show you guys the episode. I'm like, I looked at her. I was like, see, wasn't it so worth the wait to like run through the whole place to get here? And then like they're like maybe 10, 15 minutes of the episode. And then like the security comes up and he's like, hey, you guys can go ahead and sit in VIP if you want, because like the Jedi Master was like, there's like plenty of seats in the middle.
Yeah.
So that was nice of them because it was like, oh, great, we get the nice seats too, and we were late. So it was a great episode to boot. That first episode with the TIE fighter and all the action and the great setup. So I was like, oh, well, that was a very stressful day. Like I was sweating. I was dripping sweat from how much I ran to get there, but it was worth it. So that was one of the hijinks of Celebration. To get there in time, just barely.
I mean, I remember Anaheim, you had to get your morning run in. Here in Chiba, you got your morning run in.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry, about
Oh yeah, I got one more story.
One more story.
This is the one I was originally gonna tell about outside of the Celebration. I'm not sure if Dominic told you this one. He probably has, but like we just had like we always have like that's the post Celebration or post Comic-Con kind of like meal where we just decompress and break down the weekend. And we just randomly went to like a nearby like walking distance Spanish restaurant in Japan. And we got paella, we got like seafood pizza. It was great. We were having several beers, and Dominic's going, oh yeah, I've noticed a few Lucasfilm employees like walking by because we were like facing the window. And I'm like, oh yeah, their hotel's like probably right over there. But it's like the Lucasfilm sanctioned hotels over there. So anyway, we're waiting for Hannah Ray side because she's like, oh, I'm taking an apple. Me and my girlfriend are gonna be up by 7:30, so we're basically killing time right now. And we originally wanted to go to this British pub that he had gone to, but he had noticed like, oh yeah, they're not open to the public until like 7 o'clock. They're having a private party or something. I'm like, all right. So we're biding our time. We're having a good time, and we're like, look at our watch, like, oh yeah, it's like past 7. We could probably just go to the next place because none of us have any plans that night. We're going home the next day, but not until like 5 p.m. Eastern. So we could stay up late, whatever. So we leave, and then we see a big crowd outside of the British pub, which is literally the next like restaurant down. And then all of a sudden we start noticing all these Lucasfilm people, and we're like, and I look at Dominic. I was like, wouldn't that be funny if this was like the Lucasfilm after party or something? It turns out it was.
Yeah.
And then we're talking to Lillian, who's the PR person at Lucasfilm. We're talking to her significant other, which is just so happened to be working on Zero Company. And he's a producer on that game. So as you can imagine, as the gamer, I'm talking his ear off, and he's having a great time because, I'm sure as somebody that works behind the scenes, it's great to see like a fan that's so excited about something you're working on. And he's like, oh, And I was like, oh yeah, I played this Squadron game. He's like, I worked on that, and we were having a great time. Meanwhile, my girlfriend is out there in a t-shirt and shorts, and it's windier because the Chiba where we were is like near the water, and it's it's like basically night. And I'm talking to these people, and she's like, I gotta go inside. So I'm like, all right, I can't be out here forever, because Lily's saying, oh, there's a really good matcha gin and tonic or something. I was like, all right, I'll meet you in there and we'll get that. So it was great because we're talking. Me, Dominic, and these Lucasfilm folks are talking, and meanwhile in the background, it's like, yeah, no big deal. It's like the president of ILM. It's the president of Lucasfilm Animation. All these. There goes Carboni walking by us. It's like all these people that you know of and you see on these behind the scenes things. They're all around us. It's like, this is what happens at Celebration. And it gets funnier because we go inside there finally, and then we meet these two British guys that are transplants from
I saw the reel. I saw Anthony's reel with those guys. Just randomly happened to show up and randomly go to their pub.
They showed up at the party, and the Lucasfilm people were like, hey, you can stay, because they tried to pay for the drinks, and apparently the people at the bar were like, no, this is a private party that you guys are in, like, don't take our money. And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, don't worry about it. These guys finagled their way at the Lucasfilm party. And apparently they were talking to the Lucasfilm folks, and they were like telling them like some inside stuff about 2027, saying, oh, it's going to be 50th. Like, you guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be huge. We're pulling out all the stops on. Basically, that's what they were, saying. So that's why I'm like, I'm not missing that one. But anyway, so, hours and hours ago, we start a little table, and we tell Dom and my girlfriend, all right, you British folk, like, you're Star Wars fans, like, hey, come over to our table, we'll play, we'll talk about Star Wars, whatever. And then maybe 10 minutes goes by, and this other guy comes in, and we learn he's from Mexico, and we're like, oh yeah, join our table. Boom. So there's that. Then there's another British couple that comes up. Literally an hour later, there's so many Star Wars fans in this place that they end up turning on the Phantom Menace on all the TVs. There's people that are walking in with lightsabers, and I'm looking at Dominic, and I'm going, dude, I think we just started the unofficial Star Wars Celebration after party.
Yeah, there we go.
Because we literally did. So here we are. We're pounding down the drinks, and we're having a good old time, saying this is the celebration I love. Because I'll be honest with you, up until this point, I was basically going, I didn't get that fan experience that I got at Celebration Chicago or Anaheim with you guys, where it's like we really palled around. It was a different celebration because a lot of our fans really couldn't make it, and there wasn't no Star Wars Celebration after parties official that I knew about. So it was like us just the two prior nights, we would just go on our own. Me and my girlfriend would just go back to Tokyo where our place was and do our own thing. So it was a nice cap of the night to be like, it's kind of a shame that we had this really great fan interaction after the convention was already over. I would have liked to have that on like the Friday night or the Saturday night. But it's better late than never. And that just like leads me to believe like, Celebration in Los Angeles will be much different. It'll be pulling out all the stops and all the after party. There are going to be after parties galore because we're in Los Angeles. Logistics will be a lot easier to handle since a lot of the folks are American when it comes to these organizations and whatnot. So it's just I guess I went on a little longer with this conversation, but
there we go. Yeah, it sounds like exactly the magic of Celebration and kind of the taste of it. I remember, Anaheim was that amazing experience. Like, we palled around. Definitely. I mean, New York Comic Con last year, New York's the best part is meeting people in the real world.
Yep.
Even Toronto Comic Con with Dom and Ash and Din, and hanging out with people.
Yeah.
And figuring Dan Johnson. That's the point of these things, really. It's just an excuse to hang out.
So fun when you're getting so deep in the weeds with these people, and you don't even have to have a second thought about, are they actually are they actually going to understand my lingo when I'm talking about this thing from 1999 in this video game or something? And people are like, everybody looked to is at that same fan level because they all traveled the world to get to this place. Like they are hardcore of the hardcore if they're at a Star Wars celebration. So you can feel like you let your geek flag fly high because you're like, I am getting as much as I can out of this experience, because when I go home, I can't talk to anybody except you, my podcast friends, about this sort of thing. So, but it's great because you're in person, you're having beers, you're sharing food, you're out there with the ambiance of it all, and there's nothing like it. So, yeah.
Sure. I mean, kind of remembering the Disney night in Anaheim.
At
11:30 p.m. Dom and I and maybe a few others were there. Probably Chris and Ben, I think, were there too. And then all of a sudden, just all the High Republic authors come out. This is in front of the Falcon, right?
And this is where I don't even know where I was at that point.
You were trying to
bathroom or
something like that. But the magic of celebration, right? I mean, I love New York Comic Con. I love Fan Expo. I love all those. And I'm gonna love San Diego, but
you will.
There's something. There is something special to celebration. So looking forward to it being on this continent. Tyler, you're in a Star Wars. You can I won't make that joke, but you can.
I've already been talking to friends saying, if you guys thinking about it seriously, the 50th anniversary, if you've never been to a Star Wars celebration, it's going to be absolute whiplash. I feel like this could be the biggest celebration ever, and I'm not even like trying to sugarcoat this or anything like that. Like, it's gonna be big because, I mean, put it this way, they're gonna have a new president of Lucasfilm, right? This probably was the last Kathleen Kennedy appearance, so I was happy I was able to see her so up close, because she's probably retiring this year at some point. She's gonna be still on board being a producer and stuff, but like somebody else is gonna be steering the ship. So I think they're gonna introduce so much. Like, this is the new regime of Lucasfilm. Here's what we have going planned. Ahsoka season 2 will be out. Mandalorian Grogu will be out. The big thing will be like later that, literally the next month, a new Star Wars movie, Star Wars Starfighter, if that doesn't get delayed for any reason. What's next on Disney Plus? Like Maul, Shadow Lord will be out. Season 2, maybe, whatever video game, maybe Jedi 3 will be out. Who knows? So like, there's so many unknowns because it's so far away. So I'm really looking forward to them, especially with the 4 days. I think that's one thing I missed from Japan because it was over so quick. I look back and didn't even do the darn art show. Like, I didn't even go through the exhibit. I'm realizing now, like, it was a relatively small expo hall with what they had, but I still didn't see everything. So I would like that one extra day to really kind of have that flexibility to see a little bit more, but I feel like for me, that'll be cool to go to LA because with LA, that used to be the site of the old E3. So for a gamer like myself, that's like hallowed ground. The LA Convention Center was like where all the stuff went down from 1993 until 2017 or whatever it was. So, really important history there for me. And I think a lot of people are hinting at the reason why it's going to be there is because the Lucasfilm Museum will be open, and it's the
Lucas Museum.
The Lucas Museum. They're going to want people to go out there and see that. So
and it's gonna be near the theater, the Chinese theater, all that part of town, which I'll probably hopefully get to see in July. But it's gonna be, let's put it this way, an Olympic sized convention. Put this way, because they'll have all the infrastructure and everything. The Olympics coming in the year after that. So it'll be a test event for the Olympics. There we go. All right. Thanks for sharing all those stories. Fun stories, amazing. Getting us a little bit of a taste of the magic of celebration. We got comics to catch up on because you were away. And so there are a few coming out. Of course, Codebreaker came out this week. Rise of Skywalker came out this week today. We're going to talk about those next week, as well as, guess what, guys? As I mentioned off the top, Saturday is Free Comic Book Day. That's a big deal. It's the best week of comics in 2025. And then next Wednesday, speaking of things that we can talk about in 2027, next Wednesday, Alex Segura's ongoing number 2025 hits shelves. So we're talking about those 4 books next week. Young Jedi Adventures Free Comic Book Day is also coming out. And I believe Ghost Agents is coming out next Wednesday as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Ghost Agents and Jedi Knights number 3. Ghost Agents number 3 and Jedi Knights number 3. So next week will be Codebreaker number 1, Rise of Skywalker number 3, Star Wars FCBD and Ongoing number 1. And then May 14th, we'll do Young Jedi Adventures FCBD, Jedi Knights number 3, and Ghost Agents number 3. And that will get us all caught up and ready to go, hit the ground running for what's next in Star Wars comics. But yeah, I think that does it. We're about an hour and 25 minutes. I realized I didn't have my decaf tonight, so that's why I'm on borrowed time too. So that about does it for our conversation. We got through all 5 books, and you got to talk about Celebration for half an hour. So that was fun. Yeah, no, it was good. Glad to have you back. Glad to see you're safe and sound back in those United States. Where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me youtube.com/StarRaptor, where I have all my information on Celebration. I have about a 30-minute video on Celebration. I also have an hour-long video on my travels throughout Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo. I had a wonderful time in Japan outside of Celebration. It was such a beautiful country, such a cultural shock for me. Absolute sensory overload, whether it be in Kyoto or Tokyo or Osaka. Just everything just slightly different. The customs they have over there, just the different, the way people are compared to over here. It's just it feels like the Twilight Zone a little bit when you're sitting on the subway, when you're walking down the street. Everything's just a little different but familiar, and it's just a place I urge everybody to go at least once. We already want to go back, and it's like 10 years. It's like, no, we want to go back in less than 10 years at this point. It's like there's so many good memories that we made, and we have just a little bit of that to share on the YouTube channel. But I also have all these comics we talked about today. I also have reviews, including a new novel called Star Wars Into the Light. I have a review for that. And then we have the new Valiant Val coming out this week. And don't we also have the Wayseeker novel coming out or something?
Those come out May 6th. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is what I mean. It's like hard to tread water.
Yeah.
I get it though. Like Lucasfilm's like, we got to get all the High Republic stuff out like ASAP because it's coming to an end. I think once we get through the High Republic, like it'll be a lot easier to tread water at that point. Well, we won't be treading water. We'll be just able to get through this thing easily.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah. Sorry.
On Twitter, Star After as well. There you go.
I was going to, speaking of LA 2027, next publishing initiative, maybe talk about that there. Yeah. So we'll see. You can follow me, follow us on Blue Sky, Iron Cannon, or just Iron Cannon, Iron Cannon, not Biscuit on social, I should say, at Iron Cannon Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. You can follow my personal Instagram Threads and Blue Sky MNEUG1138, personal Twitter NEUG45, also Instagram beaches.foodie, FOODIE, as Chris mentioned. I'm a foodie guy on the Iron Cannon podcast right here, Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel, etc. Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. We are talking about Andor, arc number 2. We're gonna keep on going. We're gonna spoil that one. Talk about spoilers in that one, and gonna be great discussion. Joel and I getting into it. And as you mentioned, you're gonna do that on Outer Rim Transmissions on Sunday. What time on Sunday?
7:00 Eastern.
Okay. So yeah, check that out over on Star Raptor, and then right here Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, talking about Andor, and then we'll be right back here with all the next comics, all those comics that I mentioned coming up. So yeah, please do keep it locked here on the Tractor Beam Comics reviews. We'll see what the Tractor Beam dragged in next week. But until then, happy reading.